I'm Ashton Addison from EventChain for Investmentpitch Media and FinTech News Network. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Dave Minici, the GIS Technologist from GeoCoin. Dave, thanks so much for coming on the show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thanks for having me, Ashton.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to learn a little bit about the GeoCoin project and the geo cryptocurrency. If you could just start by giving us a better understanding on, why did you guys start the project and what is it all about?
Okay, great. The project started back in 2015. The original developer was a developer named Tobler, and I helped him launch the original token on a proof of work network using the qubit mining algorithm. So the main goal for GeoCoin was to create kind of a fun blockchain gaming experience where people can drag and drop cryptocurrency right onto the map for others to collect. So it creates this fun blockchain gaming experience.
That's very cool. And I'm familiar myself with geocaching. I had experienced it many years back now, but it sort of reminds me of that, but more technological version and, much more futuristic. Have you guys based the application off of some of how original geocaching started? And is it easy for people that aren't technical to jump on and, even though it's using cryptocurrency, be able to actually use the application?
Yeah, definitely. That's always been one of my goals with the GeoCoin project is to help more people get into the blockchain space. So what better way than to use a game to get people to start using blockchain? So the onboarding process is fairly simple. You would simply log in to or sign up at our website, geocoin.cash. And then we're currently doing beta testing right now. So if you contact us, we can add you in as beta testers. And then once you're in, you can basically turn on collect mode, which uses the GPS, navigate to the nearest location where there's a geocoin, and you'll pick up the coin right off the map. So in terms of barriers to entry, you could basically just sign up, walk down the street, and all of a sudden you're into crypto.
That's awesome. Sounds simple enough. And have you guys ended up actually partnering with geocaching or integrating in that whole platform? Because I know they had tens of thousands of people that were playing that at one point.
Yeah, so I've actually done a lot of geocaching myself. I think I've found over 200 finds around the local Vancouver area. So the idea of geocaching is definitely close to heart for me. But yeah, it's a very big community, and we have made a few promotional items that are called trackables. And the way that those work, they're physical coins, and then they actually have a little code on the coin. And when you enter it in geocaching.com, the people who find it can tag it as it goes from cache to cache. And then you can actually see spatially where they've traveled around the world. So we have done a few of those promotional items, but it's just in terms of trying to get some of the attention of geocachers who are in that community to let them know about our project, see if they'd be interested.
Very cool. That's super interesting, Dave. And is the platform available? Can people put geocoins all around the world, or are there restrictions?
So yeah, you can basically drop it at any location on the map. There is no restrictions on that. In terms of the way that we drop geocoins for increasing our circulating supply, we've used a little bit of GIS and automation. One of the things that we are worried about is we don't want people to be near roadways and looking at their phones in dangerous areas. So part of the automation is to try to identify parks and green spaces, and then drop them in those types of areas as best as we can.
Very smart. And I'd like to learn a little bit more about the cryptocurrency integration part and how the blockchain works. It's possible to make an app like this, with just tokens. And besides the fact that you can have cryptocurrency and trade it for other cryptocurrencies, and it's sort of like a more real form of monetary value compared to tokens. Is there any other advantages to having it an actual cryptocurrency backed on the blockchain?
Well, the benefit of the blockchain is it does a lot of things really well for us, like storing user balances, sending tokens from one wallet to the next, that type of thing. So that's basically how we utilize the blockchain with GeoCoin. Originally we did start as a proof of work blockchain, so it could be mined through just the use of like GPUs and mining hardware. But a few years ago, we actually migrated over to the Ubik network and became a token at that time. So that process actually alleviated us from having to maintain our own blockchain. So we didn't have to have our own block explorers. We benefited from a lot of the community tools. The chain was more secure because we got onto a larger pool of miners by becoming part of the Ubik network. So, we started off using just a proof of work chain. And then once it was a token, we actually started off this idea, which kind of makes GeoCoin a novelty, which is our proof of location. So at that point, we still had all of this remaining coin supply to distribute. So we thought the best way to do it would be for people to place magnets on the world, pan and zoom into their local area, drop a magnet, and then it'll use that automation I was mentioning before to try to find nearby green spaces and parks. And that's our plan for distributing the remainder of our circulating supply.
That's very interesting because a lot of projects build on top of Ethereum, and you guys had your own chain. People that aren't familiar, with the intricacies of blockchain, to be running your own blockchain and running your own nodes can be a whole nother project in itself, right? And it's a lot of work. But moving over to the Ubik blockchain, I believe Ubik has a lot of similarities to Ethereum as well, and not very many people are familiar with the Ubik project, but it's sort of like a dumbed down version of Ethereum, but it's much more scalable. Did you guys ever consider just staying on Ethereum but not running your own chain and just having a token there? And was that possible? And was it the right move to do it how you did it now with moving to Ubik?
To be honest, we actually directly decided to migrate to the Ubik chain instead of Ethereum, and it's been a great network to be on. The community is very strong in the Ubik network, so that's been a huge benefit to us. We've formed different partnerships with different people. Other community members have helped us solve different parts of our issues along the way. So I've really benefited from the community itself. But also, Ubik it is a different fork of the Ethereum virtual machine. So it offers 100% compatibility, but they have made some thoughtful consensus level changes to their blockchain. Particularly, they use a longer block time of 88 seconds. And they also have a flux difficulty algorithm, which helps maintain the block times and the stability of the chain over time. So I think there was a group called, I think it was White Block or something like that, but they did a benchmark what basically showed that the Ubik network produced fewer uncles compared to the Ethereum mainnet when they were increasing the gas limits at certain parameters and whatnot. So, Ubik is essentially 100% compatible EVM, but they have a few other things that make it a bit different than the Ethereum mainnet in terms of like governance and community input and that type of thing.
Interesting. And now that you don't have a chain on Ethereum, people used to be mining Geo by helping validate the network. It's a little bit different now. Are there other ways to acquire GeoCoins besides looking for them in the application and not being able to mine them?
In terms of mining it through the geocaching interface is the only way that you can get it through proof of location. The only other method would be to buy it through one of the marketplaces, just using Bitcoin.
Okay. And did you guys see any downsides from moving away from Ethereum? And although Ubik has a strong community, Ethereum has one of the largest communities overall, and it's
Well, I think the Ubik community is it's always been trying to be a partner with Ethereum. We're not trying to be a competitor. So everybody views it more as like a competitive partnership where we can improve and make the best EVMs possible.
Mm-hmm. With some of the other geolocation games like Ingress and Pokemon Go, which got very popular, there was talk about people being able to spoof their locations. Is that possible with the GeoCoin app, and does the blockchain help with that security at all?
We do use GIS to analyze if people are trying to spoof their GPS location, because the nature with any game is that people are going to try to cheat. And when the reward is cryptocurrency, people are going to try to cheat even more. Mm-hmm. So we definitely do use some GIS analysis, and certain members of the beta testing community have been hit by the ban hammer, basically. And then we have to discuss and see, sometimes people are on VPNs, sometimes people are trying to mess around, right? So, mm-hmm. So far the results have been pretty positive, but we're not using the blockchain in any sort of security sense.
Okay. Good to know. And you guys mentioned that you're in beta testing right now. What does the development roadmap look like coming up? And are you guys launching a full application sometime soon?
Yeah, so while I'm working on the front end, adding different base map cartographies and a few other fun things that we've been working on, we also have worked with some partners who are helping us with the wallet backend. So both sides are being developed simultaneously right now. And then once the wallet backend is up and running fully, we'll be pushing for the launch. Mm-hmm. So I don't have any set dates yet, but we're pushing for the finish as hard as we can.
That's great. And as you continue to grow, are you guys looking for further developers or team members or more strategic partners or just more beta testers?
We're always happy to meet with people and discuss the GeoCoin project and whatnot. As I said, I've actually gained a lot of support from different members of the Ubik community. So different people contribute in different ways. But yeah, we're always interested if people are willing to help us out. And also we're also looking for more beta testers. People mm-hmm. want to try collecting geo themselves.
Yeah. And as you guys continue to move towards releasing the full application, what kind of challenges or obstacles are the biggest that you have to face as you continue to grow?
I think just getting the wallet backend will be the biggest technical feat in terms of us getting to launch. So mm-hmm. As I said, we've formed some partnerships with people in the Ubik community, and then security is also a big concern. So we want to make sure things are done secure. So I think the people that we're discussing these things with are the right people to be talking with. So I have confidence that we will get there. It's only a matter of time.
And I'm glad you guys are prioritizing security. Now, if there are beta testers that want to try out the application or more people that are interested in learning more about GeoCoin, what's the best way for them to reach out, contact you, or follow the project?
The best way to contact me would be through the Ubik community Discord. So if you sign up there's a GeoCoin channel where I like to hang out. So I can definitely provide a link to that Discord for you guys if you need. But otherwise, you could follow us via social media, on Twitter or Facebook, and that type of thing.
Great. I'll leave those links in the description box below. Thank you so much, Dave, for the time. That's all the time we have for this interview, but all the best with the GeoCoin project, and let's follow up in the near future.
All right. Thanks very much, Ashton.